Hello and welcome to Record Sports Facebook Live. My name is Daniel Cott and I'm delighted to be joined all the way from sunny North Carolina by Record Sports' very own Michael Gannon. Mick, how goes it?
Not bad. Well, good afternoon to you guys. Good morning here. It's just gone kind of 9 a.m. and it's already about 27, 28 degrees. It's it's not bad. It's all right. Muggy for me, to be honest. But
We're not jealous at all. Not jealous at all. I spoke to you, obviously, Mick, at the weekend. You're obviously out there with Celtic. Their pre-season tour rolls on. I spoke to you before the DC United game. Obviously, a massive win for Celtic. 4-0, pretty comfortable. How did the game go for you?
I thought Celtic looked really sharp. I thought they were good. I mean, the guys, the wide men. I thought Nicholas Kuhn looked really impressive. I thought Lewis Palmer played well. Matt O'Reilly was like an absolute Rolls Royce, just strolled it. Listen, you got to take account that wasn't the strongest DC side on the night. A lot of young guys. They had the guy in the lineup called Academy Player.
I saw that on their team line.
Were asked about it. He said apparently it was something to do with registration. They hadn't signed a professional contract, so they couldn't name him. I thought it was one of these an interesting name, calling someone an academy player. Normative determination. But yeah, so it wasn't a strongest DC team. I thought they weren't great. And it was 4 going on 5, 6, 7. The young, I like the look of the young fullbacks. Young lad Matthew Anderson looked prospect left back. Also spent last year on loan at the feeder club in Austria as Admir Wacker. Another side they had the lad Kobe Donovan, only 17. Big lump of boy, looks about 6 feet odd. Again, did really well. Looks a prospect. I mean, he's young, obviously, but he's got a bit to do. 17, but yeah, I thought it was a positive performance against a kind of limited opposition. Pretty bit. They look, and also the guys, the international guys, come back in for some minutes, like Callum McGregor. James Forrest again looked really sharp. He had a turn of pace when he left his man absolutely for dead. It was like Roadrunner. Skinned the boy. So he looks as though he's come back quite sharp as well. So they looked in decent nick. But obviously they've got Man City tonight over here, and then also Chelsea at the weekend. So these are different kinds of tests that and Celtic will step up again.
One player that caught my eye, Mick, certainly, and I know a lot of Celtic fans would have been interested to see him obviously getting on the score sheet, Mikey Johnson. And I thought he looked really sharp and looked really good. I mean, what is the kind of current situation with him? Is he expecting to leave? Is he back? I mean, it's a bit up in the air.
At the moment, he's back at Celtic. That's it. He's concentrating on Celtic. I suspect there will be moves down the line. I would kind of expect him to go, to be honest with you. There's interest down south, as we know. Mikey Johnson all night. It was a very Mikey Johnson performance all night. There was some brilliant stuff and some not so brilliant stuff. missed one from about 3 yards, then scored a couple of great chances. Then missed a penalty. It was a real kind of topsy-turvy mixed bag. But we all know his ability. But yeah, I mean, he's here. He's part of the squad. I think Rodgers, likes him as a player, but there's always been a sense that he frustrates his manager sometimes. But I think he might be one that could be heading to pastures new some point in the summer. But we'll have to wait and see.
Another one of the kind of younger lads that I think has caught the eye of a lot of Celtic fans is Bosun Law. And it's a kind of weird one for him as well. He was on loan last season. Was it Fleetwood?
Yeah.
And did really well by all accounts. Do you think he will make the step up into the first team this season?
Not sure.
No?
Not sure. I mean, look at him. He's got tremendous physique. I mean, he's a big unit. Is he quick enough moving the ball about at this point in time for Celtic? I don't think so. If you look at someone like Callum McGregor in that kind of role, such fast feet, moves the ball really quickly. They can work between the lines. And they can break. They can run with the ball. I'm not saying anyone's going to be at that level. So he is the benchmark. Yeah. And it's a long way to go to get to that kind of level. But no, I suspect again. I think maybe another loan spell might be in the pipeline for him. It was interesting last week. We spoke to Brendan Rodgers and he mentioned him and Odin home. A little bit of warning. He wants to be more at these guys. Like a gentle warning, more like. He wants to see a bit more from them in terms of the work rate on the pitch and all that stuff. In fairness, I thought home when he came on the other night did that. I thought he looked really lively, keen to get involved. So maybe the words have kind of had that effect. But these guys got a lot of work to do to get into that side.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you mentioned just a moment ago, Man City's next for Celtic. Obviously, it will be a big step up in terms of quality. We saw you on Record Sport Online today. You were at the press conference, and obviously Celtic fans get their first glimpse of Kasper Schmeichel in the Celtic colours. His own words were that he's buzzing to be here and definitely looked up for it.
But it's actually really interesting, right? So watching the training, and it was literally like one of the first things he did. It was like they're doing a couple of warm-ups and then he get involved in a little session, a little drill. And he made this kind of like triple save, right? And honestly, it was out of this world, right? Like, a brilliant save. Got up, they did the kind of textbook Schmeichel spread to block the second one, and get back up again with another one, right? And it was actually for the fans that were watching this, and there was like massive cheer. And it reminded me a wee bit. Remember when Joe Hart signed in European tie, a couple of saves, and it was like they were like almost like a goal getting scored. The kind of cheer. Yep. It was almost a bit like that. It was almost like fans seeing it and like, oh, this is guy's quality. Right away, you could see that it was honestly, these saves were tremendous. Threw himself right into it. You think, well, this guy's obviously he's still looking sharp and he looks really keen to get involved. It was a nice little kind of moment. But he looks the part. The great thing is he looks as though he's really enthusiastic about being at the club. He really fancies this. I think he's clearly seen the impact that Joe Hart had and the kind of how much he enjoyed his time up at Celtic. And I think he's thinking, you know what, I'll have a bit of this. And another thing is, he mentioned it last night. He said he's never really been at a club that is expected and to challenge to win things all the time. He has won things in his career, obviously. I was starting at Man City as well, but a different kind of Man City back then. But I think he likes the idea of being at a club that's got a real winning mentality. And he's mentioned a couple of times now that the kind of like a draw is not even acceptable here. And he likes that idea. I think he's going to throw him. I think you'll see a guy who's going to throw himself into the job, a bit like Joe Hart did as well. I think it's a kind of a very similar type appointment. I think he'll do a kind of similar kind of job.
We spoke, Mick, about Celtic needed a new goalkeeper, and although he's 37 now, almost 38. We all know his talent, amazing talent, brilliant goalkeeper, but we mentioned that it was going to be hard to replace the personality, the influence of Joe Hart. And already from that first press conference, you can kind of see the impact that Schmeichel's going to have. You can see the personality come through.
Oh, without a doubt. He's, let's say, he's talking to guys in and around the squad. He's already jumped in with 2 feet. I mean, he's on the bus journeys. He's involved in the kind of the games, the card games, and all that stuff. I knew obviously Matt O'Reilly from Denmark squads, but he's jumped right into the squad. And I think he's used to moving around a wee bit the last couple of years, and he's kind of like right, he knows how to approach these things. But everyone I spoke to said that he's been made a kind of immediate kind of impression on everyone. A big personality, not a kind of a Billy Big Shot coming in. The guy who's comfortable in his surroundings, bangs of experience and a good character to have in the dressing room.
You mentioned there, Matt O'Reilly. I wanted to ask you about him because we mentioned that he obviously scored twice against DC United. Looked absolutely brilliant, I thought, in that game. Brendan Rodgers was talking about the kind of situation we've had on Record Sport Online about Atalanta making a second bid this week potentially. It doesn't seem to have affected him at all, does it? It just looks like the same old Matt O'Reilly, just kind of going about his business.
No, I think that's why he's such a good player, isn't it? I mean, it's been going for a while now. This is probably at least since last January, maybe even beforehand. A lot of speculation about him, and it never seems to bother him. He's got a great attitude. Just goes to his work. I mean, he's a guy who probably, listen, you can't climb into his head and know what he's thinking, right? But he is thinking at some point he is going to move and test himself at a level, whether it's English Premier League, or it's Serie A, or it's Bundesliga, or something like that. He is going to go and play at that level. But he's not a guy that will jump at the first chance he gets. He's not going to agitate for a move if things don't work out. I mean, look at it in January with Atletico Madrid. That's a big move, right? And some players might, when that gets knocked back, that could upset some players and think, you know what, toys at the pram, I want to go and you're getting my way here.
Yep.
Instead, his game, all right, in a wee spell when he's maybe slightly off the boil, but that's because it's a long season, you can't be that level all campaign. But his form soon picked up again in a really strong finish to the season, so it didn't let it affect him. So as long as he's at Celtic, he will give 100%. I've no doubt about it. How long that is, I think, is debatable. Remember, that's a lot of people are getting their knickers a twist about the transfers and all that stuff. I mean, the reality is it's July 23rd. It is really early in terms of transfers across the board. I know Scotland season starts a week Saturday, a week Sunday as well for Celtic, but it is still quite early. So there's going to be movement. I mean, there's still starting the window, another 6, 7, 8 weeks to go in the window.
Yeah.
A long way to go. So I can't see O'Reilly still being at the club in this window. I just can't. I think and partly because of that attitude as well. He's a good type, and I think a lot of people will see that as well. He's not only a good player, he's also a good teammate, and a good character to have in your squad. So yeah, it's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
But likewise, if Celtic don't get the money that they want for him, and he is still at Celtic beyond August, you're not going to see, like we've seen in the past, players maybe getting a bit frustrated at not getting the moves. And I think we saw, remember, was it Dedrick Boyata, remember?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Right out of the pram, he didn't get his move. That was a mistake with Celtic, because obviously he left for nothing not long after, and it was £9 million in the table for him.
Yep.
That's what in the bridge now, but I don't see him, if O'Reilly doesn't get the move, then he'll continue to play at the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
And will get one eventually. But again, I just can't. I think it's really difficult to see him staying beyond August.
I definitely think there's a kind of thought among some Celtic fans, probably the minority, that maybe he will stay because he looks so committed, you know. And I agree with you. I think that if by chance he is here on September the 1st, at Celtic, I do think it will just be the same old Matt O'Reilly. I think he'll, if anything, he'll continue to develop. Brendan Rodgers, I think, hit the nail on the head in his press conference the other day when he said, you know, he appreciates what it is to play for Celtic. He gets that Celtic.
It's not a burden, he said, isn't it? That's it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Celtic get plenty of money. They don't need to sell. It's not like
aye.
Sometimes if we don't get in the Champions League, you think, well, there's a £25 million hole in the finances. They need to sell. It's not like that at the moment. They have got plenty. I mean, that's one thing that Celtic have got is plenty of money.
Mm-hmm.
And if they get 25 million for O'Reilly, they'll have another pile of money. And then the focus is definitely going to be on, are they going to spend some of this?
Just finally, Mick, on that, before we wrap up, on the back page of the Record the other day, it was your very own article about Tanner Tesserman, or Tanner Ball player, as you called him in the last Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything else about any potential incomings?
No, at this point in time, no. It's maybe a bit quiet. I mean, I think he's been offered to a few clubs around the place. So it's a name that can do the rounds. Celtic, I consider them a lot. I mean, I think there's a lot of irons in the fire right now with Celtic. And it's at that stage now, I think it's almost like they're waiting for other clubs, the pieces to start to fall into place, but it sometimes takes a bit of time. Mm-hmm. I get the fans starting to get tetchy. It's now, windows were open for kind of 6 weeks and there's only been 2 goalies come in. As it stands, the team is weaker than it was in the last season, obviously with Bernardo and Ida still waiting to return, which I think they both will anyway. But so yeah, I can understand a slight kind of tetchiness among the support because they're impatient to see new faces. But they will come in. There will be new faces coming in. And I suspect the market they're in this year means that they're forced to be a bit more patient because they are shopping in a slightly more competitive market. They're not picking up kind of Bosmans and kind of like scratching for kind of little diamonds in the rough. I think they are trying to get some more proven quality, which unfortunately you have to sit and wait for because A, clubs might not want to sell them, B, other clubs might be interested, and C, these guys will have lots of options and they'll be taking the time to assess them. So you have to be kind of patient. Yeah. But I think there will be signings. Listen, we said this last year, but it didn't quite work out in terms of the quality that was kind of promised. But I just think that they can't have another window like they had in last summer and even in the January. I remember the board came out in January and apologised for the window for not getting their targets. So they can't really allow that to happen this season. Aye,
that's a fair point. Right, before I let you go, Mick, we can all see the lovely background there. It looks absolutely scorching.
this place is something else. I must admit, this is a different kind of vibe, and certainly different to Washington DC. That's for sure.
In what way?
Well, it's obviously we're in the south now. North Carolina is the south, but this is the kind of part of this town is the kind of the arty town in North Carolina. So it's all kind of like a lot of poets and kind of artists and kind of like.
You'll fit right in.
Well, I see myself as kind of a very kind of trendy guy, obviously as well. But that also means that what you do is you walk about the streets and all you can smell is marijuana everywhere. even at 9 o'clock in the morning, there's a whiff of it. It's a very woke town. I mean, I think I came here thinking it was going to like get into the south, it'd be kind of like Confederate flags and pickup trucks and all that stuff. But it's there's a bit of that, but it's also quite a. I think the guy on the barman's called a very woke kind of town. So a lot of kind of what's the phrase? They kind of like gender fluid people, and it's
very modern.
Very very much so.
So you've got
interesting place.
You've got Man City, as we've mentioned, then Chelsea, and then back up the road for you at the end of the week, next week.
So Man City this evening over at Chapel Hill, which is the next town along. It's a college town. Interestingly, it's where Michael Jordan went to university. So there's a basketball museum and all that stuff over there. So we'll try and check out before the game. Game against Man City. And then tomorrow we're head up to Indiana, up to Notre Dame. It's a place called South Bend, Indiana. It's about 100 miles kind of east of Chicago, up that neck of the woods, which is very interesting as well. There's a couple of fan events planned up there as well. Celtic, again, they've not done quite as much down here in North Carolina as they did in DC. They said last night they had this open training session. It was really well attended. What was interesting actually last night was the fact that there was literally thousands of Man City shirts. And it just shows you the kind of the way the market machine worked at these clubs, especially English clubs. I mean, actually, Pep Guardiola actually touched on it last night. He said when he first came, it must have been 8-9 years ago, Man City to the States. Nobody turned up to see them. Nobody knew who they were. Whereas now, thousands turn up. They're not. Let's be honest. They're not actual football fans. They're casual fans. Celtic support out here is more a kind of solid support, if you know what I mean. It's not
up at 2 in the morning to watch the game and all that.
No one's like waking up here and going, I'm going to support Celtic. Whereas now they go, I'm going to wake up and go, I'm going to support Man City, I'm going to support this guy. So it's a different market. So it was interesting to see all these thousands of jerseys. The game tonight, what you will see is you'll see the ground. It will be mostly sky blue shirts, right? Man City colours, but it's not all going to be Man City fans because the university, NCU, their colours are very similar to Man City. It's a kind of sky blue as well. So it might look like it's all Man City fans, but a lot of it will be NCU
university
wearing their uni colours. So if you're watching on the streams in the early hours in the morning, it's not going to all be the Man City fans. It'll be some locals wearing the uni gear.
Well, listen, Mick, I think I can safely speak for everyone watching. We're not jealous at all. Enjoy the rest of your trip. Hope it's a good game tonight. And I'll hopefully speak to you before the Chelsea game, maybe.
I hope there's no folk getting stoned just watching this in this place. But yeah,
no comment.
We'll keep you posted.
Okay. Thanks very much, Mick, and thanks to you watching. Cheers.